Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of this great republic, seekers of truth, defenders of transparency, and those who hold faith in the sacred relationship between government and the governed. We find ourselves once more at the crossroads of trust and uncertainty. A moment has unfolded in silence, almost unnoticed, but its echoes are beginning to stir across the chambers of influence. A scheduled meeting, not of politicians but of protectors, those who have pledged themselves to the noble charge of guarding public health, has been suddenly, and without public explanation, postponed. The U.S. Preventive Services Task Force, a federal body whose recommendations shape the health of our nation, was set to meet on July 10. They were to discuss matters that concern us all: diet, exercise, weight loss, and the eternal battle against heart disease, the leading killer of Americans. But now, that meeting will not happen. Why? That is the question. The answer, still shrouded in silence. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a man known both for his name and for his controversy, has made a decision through the immediate office of the Secretary. The message came not with a press conference or an open letter, but with a quiet email. The meeting is postponed. Indefinitely. Temporarily. We do not know. We only know it will not happen when it was meant to. Let us be clear, this is not just a calendar adjustment. This is not a scheduling mishap. This is a disruption in the flow of evidence-based guidance. This is the interruption of a process designed to save lives, to inform policies, to reach into homes and hospitals with actionable truth. It is within that truth that we now must dig. The members of the task force, scientists, clinicians, researchers, were ready. Ready to deliberate, to refine, to recommend. They were not preparing political strategy. They were not crafting headlines. They were doing what they have always done. Using data, evidence, and the wisdom of science to guide how we live longer, healthier lives. But their voices have been momentarily silenced. This is not the first time bureaucracy has tangled with the pursuit of health. We know the rhythm by now. Meetings delayed, findings suppressed, reports rewritten. But this time, it is different. This time, the interruption comes under the hand of a man whose very presence in the Department of Health and Human Services has sparked debate across every dinner table and news outlet. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is not merely a public servant. He is a figure forged in fire, known more for his crusades against vaccines and pharmaceutical giants than for quietly nurturing government institutions. To some, he is a hero. To others, a heretic. But today, he is the secretary, a role that demands balance, prudence, and above all, clarity. And yet we have received no explanation. The task force's mission is clear: to recommend ways for Americans to stay healthy before they become ill. Their guidance affects everything from health insurance coverage to clinical practice. Their work is not abstract. It determines whether your grandmother gets a screening, whether your child's pediatrician encourages lifestyle changes, whether your insurance covers a checkup that could save your life. This was the moment to reaffirm our commitment to public health. Instead, the meeting vanished like a whisper in the wind. The message sent to USA Today confirms only the obvious: the meeting will not occur. It does not offer a reason. It does not propose a new date. It does not assure the public that the work will continue. In its omission, it speaks volumes. What changed in the final hours? Was it political pressure? Internal disagreement? A shift in strategy? Or was it, as is too often the case, the result of a power that believes it owes no explanation to the people it serves? We have seen what happens when science is sidelined. We have lived through it, during pandemics, during crises of trust, during times when ideology took the wheel while facts were bound and gagged in the trunk. This cannot be another one of those moments. Public health is not a pawn. It is not a message to be managed. It is a sacred contract between the state and the citizen. When that contract is breached, even by delay, it warrants not silence, but scrutiny. The public deserves to know why this meeting was postponed. Not just for the sake of procedure, but for the sake of policy, of progress, of the very idea that governance is a dialogue, not a decree. If this is a matter of internal reorganization, say so. If this is due to shifting priorities, speak up. If there is a deeper concern, a conflict, a controversy, a recalibration, let us hear it. Silence is not an answer. Silence is a danger. And yet, despite the clouds of uncertainty, the work of health must go on. It must continue in the clinics, in the labs, in the homes of everyday Americans who wake up every morning hoping for better health and clearer guidance. They deserve that guidance. They deserve a Department of Health that does not flinch in the face of complexity. A secretary who does not postpone without purpose. A task force that is allowed to do the work it was commissioned to do. And we, citizens, journalists, scientists, advocates, must keep watching. Not to sensationalize, but to hold accountable. Not to politicize, but to protect the principle that when health is on the line, transparency is not optional. So let us ask again, what happened? Where is the explanation? When will the meeting be rescheduled? Will the recommendations be made public? These are not questions to be tucked away in private inboxes. These are questions that belong in the open. Because the heart of this issue is not bureaucracy, it is the beating hearts of the American people. It is the lives that could be saved by early intervention, by better diets, by more activity, by clear policy rooted in science. That conversation must not be delayed. It must not be postponed. It must not